Is Saleem, daughter of Mohammed Saleem, who was brutally murdered 2 years ago.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. What an amazing turnout. I'd first like to thank the organisers, Savvy, Wayman, Dennis, for inviting me to speak today at today's demo. My name is Saleem. I'm an anti-racism campaigner. I'm the daughter of Mohammed Saleem. My personal experience of Islamophobia will live with me and my family for the rest of our life. It will remind me what happens when hatred in society goes unchallenged and people who hate are not stopped. On the 29th of April 2013, my father, Mohammed Saleem, 82 years old, had been singled out and murdered on the very street he lived on for over 30 years.
No!
The motive for his death was allegedly because he was brown and dressed like a Muslim. He was followed home from the mosque after late evening prayers at 10 p.m. by a cowardly right-wing neo-Nazi terrorist.
No!
Who had only been in the country for less than 5 days. He was then stabbed 3 times from behind. The devastation of the death of our father and our family has been overwhelming. To even comprehend what our father went through, bleeding to death on the streets, all alone. Trying to understand actually how someone could actually have a hatred for an 82-year-old man. The fact remains my father was targeted for being a Muslim. He was followed home and killed. Pavlo Napshin from the Ukraine is serving 40 years for my father's murder and the 3 mosque bombings in the West Midlands. These were all acts of terrorism and he was charged under the Terrorism Act. Yet to this day, the police, the government have not treated Pavlo like they would if the terrorist was a Muslim. You all remember when Lee Rigby was murdered, rest in peace. The murder received global coverage. But when my father was killed in a similar terrorist attack, just 3 weeks before Dad's murder, barely received any media. There wasn't any condemnations from the government, police or MPs. You ask yourself, if a single individual was going around and placing bombs outside churches, what would be the reaction of this country? Is the Muslim community any different? Do we not deserve the same protection and rights? Why? Because the label of terrorism is more widely associated with Muslims and Islam. I'm here today to address the pressing issue of Islamophobia and its increase over the last few years, much of which has been perpetrated by sensationalized media headlines and the general bias against Muslims in news reports and treatment within the legal system. The murder of the 3 Muslims, Dia, Yusuf and Rizan, is evidence of this. Just recently, last month in the States, my father was attacked because he was a Muslim, not because he was Asian, but because of his faith. Islamophobia is rife, and Islamophobic attacks continue to rise, fueled by sensationalized headlines run by media and also by this government's stance on treating all Muslims as terrorists. What hope is there for our kids and generations to come if we don't make a stand against all forms of hate? Thank you very much.